What's up? What's up? Tell the people who we got here with us today.
Well, what is going on? I go by the name of Arize. That's Arize with the accent. Do not forget the accent. I'm a Nigerian American artist from Texas. Yeah.
Tell the people what you do.
So I do a plethora of things, but mostly I'm a creative director and I'm an artist and a songwriter. So I make beats, write songs, and also a creative director for people as well as myself.
So, for the people that's just discovering you, who is Arize as the artist and as the person?
How I would like to describe myself as an artist, I would just say I'm just a plethora or like a multitude of multiple people who I've been inspired by is also like where I'm from. Being an artist, I was born in Nigeria, and I remember being like very, very young, and like even though we didn't have instruments, we couldn't really get instruments. Me and my brother used to like drum on tin cans. So I really want to say that the artist in me is really inspired by mostly my environment. My brother, also my big brother, growing up, he used to create comic books and like sell them at a Boys and Girls Club. He used to do interior design. He was the first person I saw doing like drawing anime and on a computer like visualizing anime and stuff like that. And that was really, really cool. And I used to look up to him. So from an artist, I would just say I'm just a mix of obviously my upbringing, moving to South Texas when I was a kid, seeing, falling over with rap music and also just Kanye West, all the other artists with time and that is a very tough question. As far as who I am as a person, I'm just like you, just trying to figure everything out. I'm creative. I'm someone who is trying to learn from make mistakes, self-aware, trying to, give a unique perspective of my life. Yeah, that's who I am.
Type shit.
Yeah.
Your name carry a unique energy. I want you to tell the people what Arize represents for you creatively and spiritually.
So my name means, so Arize is a short version, is Arize Chukwu. So Arize is like, it's supposed to be Arize Chukwu, but essentially it's just keep God close, it's Igbo. So it's saying like, keep God close. I think for me, when I hear my name and I see my name, so for the longest time, and this is like, nobody knows this, so I'm gonna share this with y'all. I used to go by the name Jason. So my middle name is Jason. So you're right, I know, crazy. So like, it's Arize Chukwu, Olu, I told you, Jason Okolo. But for the longest time, just because my name is so long, I would just go by the name of Jason. And it wasn't until I was a senior in high school that I was like, why am I think me coming to America, I was trying to assimilate. I didn't want to come off as being an African kid. So it's like, I think I came to a self-actualization moment when I was in high school where I was like, man, my name is really Arize, and it's a unique name. So it's like, I'm Arize, that's who I am. I think it represents not only who I am, but what I come from and my people. You see what I'm saying? Like, knowing what my dad's side of the family went through. I think it's important for me to be proud of where I'm from. So that's what it represents on a spiritual level. I think when I think about my name, I think about like my grandparents. I think about the humble little compound that I come from. Like when I was a kid, my earliest memories. I think about my mama raising chickens. I think about us pouring manure on like on the on plants. I think about just a very similar version of who I was when I was a kid, when that was my only name. I didn't know my name was Jason. You see what I'm saying? So like when I think about my name, I just think it kind of reminds me of who I am, I guess, or where I'm from. True.
So, with who you are today, how would you compare that to who you was?
So I think when I was a child, I was very quiet. I think I was extremely observant, or at least not even I think from what I'm told from my mom and my brothers and them. I was really quiet. I didn't cry too much. I just was like my eyes are always open. I was always observant about everything, and I created a lot of narratives in my head. Me and my brother as kids, we couldn't like my mom really couldn't go freshman year. She couldn't afford too many things. We stayed in an apartment complex that wasn't necessarily the best. So during the summer times, we would stay inside, and like we would come up with whole narratives. Like literally, we would be in mind you, it's like a 2-bedroom apartment complex. The AC don't work, mind you. My mom is working, and we on the bunk bed. We'll come up with a whole like 3-part movie like sequence in the room, and I think that America moving to America made me more like open to the possibility of what being a creative is, or like realizing that that's who I truly am. But also, I think it hardened me. Like it made me more like aware of how unlikely it was for me to be in the position I am. Like I was extremely privileged, I was extremely blessed, but also like yeah, well, I'm just more callous. Like, I just don't like how I move is a little different. I'm not the most. I'm not the naive, lighthearted kid as I used to.
You said that moving to America kind of inspired your creative ability and things like that. When did you first realize music wasn't just something you love, but something you felt like you were called to do?
It took me a long ass time. I didn't even want to believe it. I remember I used to make fun of niggas who make music. Like from the monster. So like when I'm from in Texas, like San Antonio, like ain't no one who really came out the city except for like niggas like AJ Hearns, Blake. That's about it. You see what I'm saying? So it was like, but I used to always like niggas like who did music. My shit were corny and lame. You see what I'm saying? Like, and it wasn't even I no disrespect. I just really thought that niggas San Antonio didn't really have a real identity until there was no black people. Like I mean, there were black people on the east side, but they didn't. It's like it almost sounded like Sonic. They were trying to either emulate like Houston or something, a larger music scene, either Houston or it was the West Coast. You see what I'm saying? So for the longest time, I always had opinions on music, but I just never gave a fuck. You see what I'm saying? I played, I got kicked out of 3 different elementary schools. I was bad as hell when I first got to the States, so I wasn't thinking about no music. I was bad as fuck, fighting, get control, throwing rocks. Got kicked out of 3 elementary schools, went to 2 middle schools. The second middle school I was in, I was getting into a lot of trouble, fighting, just doing shit, trying to be somebody who I wasn't, but I think my environment really shaped that. But the point is just to answer your question. It wasn't until I got to high school, started playing football. I really thought that was what's going to, be my love. And then I was, granting, I worked really hard at it. Didn't work out. I tried to listen to my big cousin do debate. That ain't really work out. But I remember going to Austin for a debate camp in the summer. And they had this thing called hip hop pedagogy, like where they're teaching about hip hop, like how to debate with hip hop. And I remember taking this shit and doing it, and I was like, in the rounds, people were like, okay, that's fire. But at the same time, I was like, damn, I like this a little bit more than I thought I would type shit. So I'm like, let me take this shit serious. So I ended up just quitting debate. And just be like, fuck it, I'm finna make music. You see what I'm saying? So I was going to debate class really just with my headphones, wireless headphones, making beats like on Serato sample. And one night I had gotten high as hell. Like this is like I got high as hell. Like, and I listened to Malibu by Anderson .Paak, and I had this hyper fixated moment on just the sounds of the music. It just sounded very, very clear, and it just something in me was like, yeah, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like I knew at that moment. Ever since that night, I was like, yep, I'm finna make music. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah.
It's funny you said at a certain point you didn't even have an opinion about music.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, what does music need right now that you feel like it's currently missing?
I think innovation. I think there has to be more people who are unafraid to go out of the box or try to like create something that's unique and new. Um, Now, like you have to know the rules and break rules. I'm not saying that folks should just be out here doing bullshit, just like or things that don't really make the most sense. But I'm saying like we live in a globalized world. You could watch content in the United States from Somalia if you want to. You see what I'm saying? And like we have access to so much music that we never had before. So I think it's kind of like it's creatively disingenuous for folks to just keep making the same shit. So I really feel like right now there has been a stagnation in like creativity. I think everyone's just really comfortable in their lane. So it's like that's where I feel like I play a role because it's like
I was just about to ask you, like, what do you believe you bring to the music landscape that people ain't hearing enough of?
I think being that first off I'm a student of hip hop. I came into this shit like loving rap music. You see what I'm saying? Like from anywhere from URL battle rap type shit to like people like seeing Jig come up, seeing people like Kenny Mason, Larry June, in that kind of space. So for me, I always loved eclectic music though. Like people like Eve's Tumor, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, Anderson .Paak. So melding those worlds of like using my Afro background, like obviously I was from Nigeria, so Afro music has just been a part of my life. It's not even I don't think about it like it's a genre. It's just been a theme song to like every important moment of my life. So for me, just to answer it very simply, is melding those worlds. I think there's a lot of West African kids who grew up in the United States who especially in the South. Let me just be specific. There's a lot of West African kids who grew up in the South who have a melodic experience, and I feel like I bring to that table a unique experience for them, but also people who just experience what I've experienced. So mostly just a mix of just cultures. Just I just want to make black music, bro. High art black music. Everything else.
I know that's right.
Out the window. So yeah, like international high art world black music type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we talk about your sound and your music, let's talk about the new single "Tell Me." Like, what inspired that record?
Yeah, that was literally what I was just talking about. Like, so I was asking my mom, it was funny, me and my mom had a conversation. I was like, because my mom, she used to be a flight attendant in the 80s in Nigeria. So she worked for this private journal company. So she used to be flying all throughout Europe and also Africa. Um, and if you know anything just about Nigeria, how traditional it is, that's like rare, right? Like my mom like had a job that was high pay, and she wasn't really, she didn't have to do the traditional route. Like she enjoyed her 20s. And I was asking like, when y'all was turned, like when he was like, what was y'all listening to? And she was like, yeah, there's this one song, this is one pop Italian song, and she played it for me. And I remember as soon as I heard the sample, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be, yeah, like I need this, like this is gonna be crazy. So when it was like the first vocal sample, like something like that.
What emotions or experiences were you channeling during that?
It was mostly like, how can I modernize? How can I Africanize and modernize this song? Like it just felt very, it felt very guttural. It felt like this song, like it just reminded me of a chant. You see what I'm saying? So and Tell Me, I just modernized it. I put a log drum on it, and then I played some pads, and yeah, it just sounded like, I feel like a meld of worlds that I was trying to go for in regards to like making something that's R&B kind of pop, but also has some Afro influence to it. So that's what Tell Me represents to me. Is just kind of me melding all my influences and stuff.
Type shit.
Yeah.
So if listeners could walk away feeling anything, what would you want them to feel from their record?
Good.
I know that's
It
right.
don't gotta be nothing. Just feel good, bro. I think the summer is around the corner. The sun's out. It feels good outside. Obviously the verses and the chorus have like meanings, but honestly, like if you just take away, oh, this is a cool little vibe that I can listen to, just it could just be a cool little vibe to listen to.
So tell the people, how does the culture influence the way you create music?
The culture doesn't really influence the way I create music, just because like I'm moving off of my emotions, not necessarily the culture. Now sometimes there are records that are really, really big, and I'm just like, damn, this is culturally significant records such as like I would see typical butterfly or like Malibu or shit like that. Like I would say like Power or like My Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye. Like these are culturally significant, but it's always a feeling. Like there's records like Kerosene by Eames Tumor or Hossendale Lights by Eames Tumor that's like completely just psychedelic rock. That's like I think feels good to me or feels nostalgic or it feels like I've always known this record. And that kind of moves me. But as far as the culture, like, I don't give no fuck about it. I don't really care.
You self-motivated type
Yeah,
shit.
like I ain't studying the culture like that. I'm a culture. Hey,
Type shit.
You know, so
I would like to say you are love too, because a lot of your themes touch on love. So how do you personally define love today?
I think love is sacrifice without expecting anything in return. Love is not like, I think we live in a culture where we erase love seem like it's buttery and lovey-dovey and shit like that. It's not. Love is just sacrifice with no expectation in return.
Speaking of love, tell us about your love life. How that look?
Shit. Oh, damn. That's what we talking about. Love, like, I'm in between this place in my life where it's like, if I find one, I want to be just serious with that person and just grow with that person. But at the same time, I'm not forcing that. So as far as like my love life, I love my friends, I love my family. I give a lot of love to the people who are involved in my life, but I think I've been in a season in which I've been trying to hold on to love, but reciprocity is important as much as I'm willing to sacrifice and not expect anything in return. Do I really love myself if that's what I'm allowing to happen? So in this season of my life, I've been just really focused on loving myself and my family. And, yeah.
Type shit.
Yeah.
Type shit. Do you think love is a distraction, like romantic love in a relationship, with the dreams you're trying to chase?
That's a great question. I don't think it's a distraction. I think it really depends on the values. I think one thing that's even way more important than love is values. I think the values of your romantic partner should align with yours. And I think that if y'all working towards something that's mutually beneficial for y'all, not in a transactional way, but like truthfully, like y'all soul calling is mutually beneficial, then I think that it can make sense. But it only deteriorates you from your calling or it deters you from your calling if like it's just loose as hell and y'all don't really have y'all don't really have a word or a structure or terms and conditions or even like a why. Like, okay, like why are we dealing with each other? Like, what do I want from us? What do you want? What are your expectations? What are your boundaries? If y'all haven't had that type of conversation, then you just gonna lose his head. Like, you just gonna y'all gonna 6, 8 months, a year gonna pass, and y'all gonna be fucking, and then y'all gonna look up. Why are we been arguing and fucking and none of this shit working out? Like, there has to be more than just romantic. There has to be some sort of like intentionality that's deeper than just your physical attraction to that person. I think that like
Yeah.
so it's not a distraction to me because I don't let it be a distraction to me. You see what I'm saying? I pick and choose very carefully who I even involve myself with in that type of way. So it's like
I like how you said you pick and choose who you involve yourself with. So how do you pick and choose who you collaborate with in the music industry or who you would want to work with?
simple. If I like them as a person, being talented, I think there's a lot of talented people. I think talent is important, but I don't think it's the end all be all. I think the ability to be able to be open and to be receptive and also to be curious and challenging. I think like I work well a lot with people who are very childish or childlike. I don't want to say childish, not like in a fake way, but like they're just curious. Like if you ever been around kids braiding, they're just curious. They're not thinking about perception or how it's gonna be perceived. They're always thinking about like how it feels, the idea. Like they're thinking about they're visionaries. You see what I'm saying? So I like working well with people who are they don't take themselves too serious. I collaborate really, really well with people who are just like, what if we just try this? Or let's try this. Or let's do this. And they're not married to something, and there's not ego. It's just really, really just they're there for the song, the music, and just for the integrity of their art. They just love making art. Like whether or not they make $1 million or they don't, they're trying to make it at the highest level for themselves for some for self reasons. So yeah, those are people who I like to collaborate.
So with your creative process, how does that even look?
I think a lot of the times it could be from conversations I have with people where if I hear someone say something unique, like I'll like damn that's hard or I'm trying to find a different way to say it. For example, like a lot of the records that I come up with, the first few lines, it would be like an old saying or an old idiom, and I'll be like, and I'll try to flip it on its head. You see what I'm saying? Like mostly like that. That's how I started lyrically. Now, as far as beats and like creating productions and sequences, oftentimes I'm chasing feelings. So like I'll hear something that's unique or something that reminds me of childhood or like a period in my life that was really important or like it pulled me towards it, and I'll try to like find a new way to like refashion it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to sample it as what it is. I'm trying to figure out a way for me to restructure it in a way where people may take a different conclusion from it. So like in both ways, most of the time I say my creative process is me just listening, mostly being curious, asking myself questions of A, why rap what I'm listening to, and then B, how can I make this a reason versus trying to,
Yeah.
change it up. But very simple, listen to shit I like, make me type shit.
Yeah. So for anybody that's afraid to step into their creativity, what would you tell them? What advice would you give?
You gotta be courageous. That's all I gotta say. It's like just be courageous. I mean, you're just creative, bro. Like think about it, like bro, I mean, I don't know where this viewership is gonna be at. The majority of us we in America, we're fortunate enough to be able to create. I mean, whether or not the outcome of that creation, we never know. 1,000 years from now, folks might be like, damn, that shit was crazy. You don't know. Just create, have fun, be a kid, bro. Like when we were kids, no one was like, oh yeah, like I wonder if this is gonna blow up. No, like just have fun, bro. Like it's not the end of the world. Just have fun. Stop being so much in your head. You're not Van Gogh, and even Van Gogh didn't know he was Van Gogh. You're not.
Yeah.
No one knows. So it's like, shit, just have fun, bro. It's not that deep.
Yeah. For people who overthink, do you think that their music will still have the power to shift the culture, or is the culture shaping the music?
That's a great question. For people who overthink, do I think that they have the power to shape? Overthinking to the point where you don't make actions, it's just a problem. So if you ever overthink to the point where you can't act, you're fucked. Because in the real world, it's over. So in the real world, if you don't go with your move and something happens, it's over. So it's like, I think that being intentional is different from overthinking. I think intentionality makes music timeless, right? I think Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson for Motown, like they were very intentional. They knew what they were going for. That doesn't take overthinking. It just takes a plan and you execute that plan. But I think overthinking is literally fear. You're just so if you're overthinking, you're not creating, you're not doing anything to aid the culture. Your music, it doesn't make your music any better. If anything, it makes your music worse. So like, be in the music, enjoy the music, be intentional, ask the right questions, and I think you'll come to a very good answer. So.
I don't think you have a problem with fear with your level of consistency and the amount of videos I've seen on TikTok. I see a lot from you. So, what do you have coming up? What can the people look forward to seeing from you in future projects?
So in the future, what people, I'll say what y'all should look forward to seeing is mostly me working in various film, ministries, film, and investing. Like I got some stuff that I want to do, but specifically in music is more eclectic cinematic music that's more representative of my background. The TikTok content is great and fun, but I definitely want to be more narrative based. So the intentionality piece, because it's like I haven't developed the muscle to be consistent on TikTok. But now it's like, how can I make this representative of who I am as a person and as a whole? So yeah.
Type shit. So speaking of TikTok, tell the people where they can follow you on all platforms.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at ARLZE on Instagram. You can follow me on TikTok at Arize. That's AHHREEZZAY. And then on YouTube at Arize the Aries, Arize ARIZE the Aries, VARISC.
Type shit. And for your fans, your audience, the people that support you, watching you, leave them a message. Anything you want to tell them? Words of encouragement, anything.
You're your biggest critic, but also you're your only competition. So don't let fear ever hold you back. The moment that you start shortening the distance between your ideas and your execution will be the moment you change your life. So do what you will with that information. No one's gonna save you but yourself. No one's gonna save you.
Amen.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap.
Fuck, oh.